This video is sponsored by the Ultimate Freelancing Bundle by StudyWebDevelopment.com, which gives you everything you need to start your own freelancing business, including a 130-page in-depth guide, invoicing and client proposal templates, website templates, an SEO checklist, and much more. Visit the link in the description and use the code BRAD25 to get 25% off. Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video, I want to talk about the benefits of becoming a web developer or even just any kind of software developer. And this is for both people that are aspiring to be developers and people that maybe might be working as a web developer but have kind of a lack of motivation and maybe forgot why you got into this industry in the first place. So the first one is kind of the most obvious one, and that's the pay. It's a pretty high-paying job. It's not the absolute highest in tech, but it can be up there, and that's not including side projects and things you can do on your own to create revenue streams. And even just as a 9-to-5 developer, you can live pretty well. You can make 6 figures a year. According to Glassdoor, the average salary for a web developer is about $90K per year. And I wouldn't say go into this industry or any industry strictly for the money. I'm a big fan of doing what you love, even if it pays a little less. For instance, a career like, let's say, a data scientist, they make more money than web developers do, but that's not something that I'd want to do all day. I'd rather take a little hit in salary and do something that doesn't really feel like work, that I really enjoy doing. And I'm going to talk about this in a few minutes, but it's also one of the highest paying jobs that you can get without having a college degree. And yes, a degree does make it easier to get hired in many cases, but there's plenty of devs out there that don't have college degrees that are very successful. So the next one is that this industry isn't going anywhere. Web development is a very sought after job, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. We're always going to need websites, web apps, web services, and so on. It was ranked number 8 in the U.S. News and World Report for the best tech job in 2018. I said this in another video, but if you think about it, every single industry either needs or could benefit in some way from web development or software development. If you think of the different projects you can create for healthcare, hobbyists, schools, whatever it might be, from simple websites to highly targeted niche web or mobile apps. Some people complain about software like Wix and other website builders, and I could actually do a whole video on this, but that's not something that I'd worry about. Most software like Wix, it's not targeted enough to really build what the client needs. And even if it is, most of the time, in my experience, the client does not want to doesn't want to do it. They're not interested in building their own website, or they don't want to take the time to learn. Even if it's just drag and drop, it still takes time to learn, and a lot of them want professionals to do the job, unless they're just dead broke and they can't afford it and they have to do it themselves. All right, so the next one is that you can be self-taught. This is one of the biggest advantages, in my opinion, is that you can do this being 100% self-taught. Software development in general is just full of college dropouts and people that never went to college. And again, having a degree can make you more employable, but in my experience, having a really nice portfolio with projects that prove that you can do the job is more valuable than that piece of paper. And of course, you could do both. You could go to college, try really hard, get a degree, and have a good portfolio. But college is very, very time consuming. So a lot of the time you just don't have the time to create projects for your portfolio. Being self-taught, you can learn almost for free. I mean, you have documentation, you have tutorials, you have very cheap, $10 courses on Udemy that you can take that will teach you very modern technologies. And if you don't have the discipline to be self-taught, if you can't basically create your own curriculums and stuff like that, I know a lot of people have that problem. You always have boot camps. I really like boot camps because they teach you relevant technology, modern skills that you're going to need, and it's very short. It's a lot cheaper than college, and a lot of them actually help you find a job. So I'm definitely a fan of boot camps. So the next one is that it isn't boring, and it depends on, who you're talking to. If you ask my wife, she'll say coding is the most boring thing on the planet, but most people that think that have never really built anything. Once you start building things and seeing results and learning, it's extremely satisfying. Not to pick on mechanical engineers or electrical engineers or professions like that, but those are very standardized careers where you have a strict process you have to follow, a strict set of rules. It's very repetitive and almost mind-numbing. And the reason I love web development and programming is because of the creative freedom to build whatever you want. You don't have this strict set of guidelines or set of technologies that you have to use for every single project. Obviously, every company is different. I'm sure there's a lot of dev jobs where it's somewhat boring and you're kind of building the same thing all the time. But a lot of companies, or most good companies, embrace creativity. And if you're working for a company where you're doing the same crap every day and you're using old technology and they won't listen to you if you want to try something different, then it might be time to look for a new job. So the next one is you're able to work for yourself. Being a web developer gives you the skills to create stuff on your own time. Even if you have a day job, you can work on your own side projects and even turn them into a business and make some money. You can go into business for yourself as a freelancer, get your own clients. This is something that you really can't do in many other professions, even tech professions like, let's say, data science. It's very hard to be a freelancer for data science. Usually you're going to have to get a job with a large corporation that actually needs data science. When you can code and you have an idea, you can create that from scratch and you can throw it up on a server all on your own. Again, not something that you can do in many professions. Some other ideas that you could do to make money as a web developer are building plugins, themes, other types of software, content creation and education, which of course is what I do, consulting for companies, things like that, freelancing. It opens up a world of possibilities. And I always suggest that web developers also learn a little bit about business and kind of shoot for having your own business someday rather than just being a code monkey for some big corporation. Although I do think that's an important step, is that you do work for a company, but I do advise people to think bigger in the long run. So the next one is a lot of times we can work from home, or not just home, but work from anywhere. And this kind of goes with the last one, which is work for yourself. So to be any kind of web developer or software engineer, all you really need is a decent laptop and an internet connection. So many companies will let their employees work from home. A lot of times you have to be there for a while. They have to be able to trust you, but a lot of them will let you work from home, at least part-time. Also, running your own company is easier than it is in most other professions. So if we look at, for instance, my wife, who's a hairdresser, in order for her to start her own business, she needs a place, she needs to rent out a place that has chairs and sinks and all that crap. Or she has to spend thousands of dollars to put it in her house so that she can do it from home. We as web developers, we can just sit on our couch with a laptop and go to town. And I've worked from home for many years, and I couldn't imagine going into a stuffy office every day. And I take that for granted sometimes. And of course, working from home does have its downsides as far as mental health and social skills and all that. I actually plan on doing a video on that soon. But there's things you can do to help that. You can go out and go to a Starbucks, or you can even rent out a small, cheap office space, which I actually do. I don't use it that much, but I do have that other area that I can go to if, being at home is driving me nuts. And also if you're on vacation, you can work from the hotel, things like that. So it's just very convenient. So the next one is kind of a weird one, but this I believe this is true. It makes you a better thinker and learner. And when you spend your days solving problems and coming up with creative solutions, you're constantly training your brain and you start to think like a programmer. I think that most programmers think in a certain way and learn in a certain way. And in many cases, this can help you figure things out in life much easier and look at things more logically. It can even make you smarter in things like politics because you can think more logically. which is something that a lot of our politicians don't seem to do very well. It also makes you a better learner because we're constantly learning new things. You know, there's new frameworks, new libraries. Almost every project, you're learning something new. So we basically learn how to learn, and this makes it easier if you want to take up something else. Maybe you want to start looking into investing in stocks, or something else to do with business, or something else altogether. I think after years of programming and researching, it helps you find what you need to learn about anything and absorb it into your mind in a practical way. So the last one is seeing results. And this is one of the things that intrigued me to get into coding, and in particular web development, was being able to create things, even small front-end projects. The first time I created like a JavaScript calculator, it gave me satisfaction, even if I followed along with a tutorial. And this may not happen for everyone, but I love building things, and building things I can see and that other people can use and so on. And you can put it live on the internet and share it with the world, whether it's your own project or something you built with a team. And not only that, other people can use your applications or tools or whatever it is that you build, and that's a really great feeling. You can also build your own tools to make your life easier, or help you out in some way. So as an example, I suffer from constant vertigo and migraines, and I'm actually working on an app to track my episodes, the level of intensity, what I was doing at the time, things like that. So it could actually benefit my health becoming a web developer. And many people don't think of this stuff when they decide to learn how to code. They strictly think of, how much money will I make, what kind of job, what company will I work for. But there's just so many other things you can do. And I think that's, that's what I love about doing this. But that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this and took something from it, and I'll see you in the next video.